Hi people. Today I'd like to talk about something a bit different from what I normally talk about. As the title tells you, I'll talk about how to control how much time you spend playing the game. Now, obviously, not everyone has this type of problem. But perhaps what I'm about to say could help you keep it that way in the future as well. I believe the game can fulfill a lot of our needs as humans. For example, you can be social via your guild and your guild's Discord. You can pursue goals and work towards achievements. The problem might be that you stop doing those things in real life. Obviously, it's better that you PvP in the game than in real life, but that's besides the point. And when I say needs, I don't mean the physiological ones that we die unless we fulfill. I'm talking about what we need to feel good. The game can also be very valuable as a distractor from everyday life. Some things you can't do anything about, and it can be very relaxing to just forget about them for a while. Either way, I suppose everyone has, in at least some sense, a unique relation to the game and a unique reason as for why they play it. Also, what I say is of course from my own experience, and you might not agree with everything I say. But if you feel like you play more than you'd like to do, perhaps some things of what I say could be beneficial for you. Okay, getting into the meat of the video, I'd like to start off by describing a few scenarios. Let's say the game in some way became a type of distractor to forget about some problems you faced in your everyday life. But the problem have now passed, but you still play a lot. Or let's say, you seem to shift between binge playing and completely staying away from the game. Or let's say that you, for whatever reason, simply don't have much to do during the days and end up spending the most of your time in front of the computer playing the game. Or, let's say, you simply don't know what to even do besides playing the game. You just feel lost and confused. All of the mentioned situations might lead to you not doing things you feel like you should be doing in order to have more time playing. And perhaps you're somewhat pendling back and forth between feeling like there isn't really any issue with the time you spend and feeling like you're wasting your time and need to stop now. Only to feel like you overreacted and be back spending the same amount of time a few days later. All of the mentioned scenarios might be part of the reason as of why you find yourself in the situation you're currently in. It could be very helpful to think over what kind of need the game might satisfy for you. And when I say think about it, I really mean thinking about it, instead of just bashing yourself, thinking you have no self-control, that you're stupid or whatever self-critique it might be. That kind of thinking isn't going to help you, and it isn't going to change anything. Perhaps you feel like you have no friends in real life, or you have no goals, or whatever it could be, and that the game provides you with this. Realizing something like that could be hard. Realizing, for example, that you feel as if you have no friends in real life is a hard thing to realize. The idea here is basically that the game gives you something nothing else or no one else seems to be able to provide for you, and being aware of why will help you understand your situation and orient yourself within it. When doing this, try and leave home to think about it. If you have the possibility, talk to someone you feel won't judge you, but instead try and help you understand. Perhaps they could add insights or thoughts you didn't have before. Perhaps go to a coffee shop or whatever. Just get away from the game so you have a chance of thinking clear thoughts. And like I said, at this stage, so to say, don't have the attitude that you must and will quit. Instead, what you want to do is try and understand how things really are. chances are you might discover something that changes the situation. And if you actually learn that there is a pretty good reason as of why you spend more time than you'd like, you might stop criticizing yourself all the time. Now, in case you don't have a schedule or a routine, you should really get one. And my tip would be to start in the most stable part of your current routine. You most likely do at least one thing at about the same time every day. Build on top of that one thing. And do realistic changes that you feel are so small that you can manage them. Maybe it's just to eat your breakfast at the dinner table and not in front of your computer. Let's assume you have no limitations. What would you want to do during your day? And I really mean no limitation. If you honestly want to bang 200 hot chicks each day, then be honest with yourself and admit that that is the case. I do, however, doubt that you'd really want 200 women in a day. Maybe one is closer to the truth. If you don't let yourself know what you actually want, you will very, very likely never get it. Once you have at least one of these things figured out for yourself, start thinking about how you could take steps towards that. How can you orient your day so that you move towards it? And when you do that, don't share it to anyone who will fault you for it or say that you will never succeed. You can keep it to yourself and only share it to the ones you want to share it with. You might feel ashamed. Going to the gym the first time is pretty awkward, for example. You don't really know what you're doing and you're probably embarrassing yourself as well. But first of all, going to the gym is an infinite times better than not going at all. And that is pretty much regardless of how much you actually exercise while there. And I really do mean that. If you feel ashamed or lost or whatever, don't try and suppress that. To be told that you shouldn't feel ashamed has never stopped anyone from feeling ashamed. If you let everyone know what you would like to have and how you think you might get it, you will very likely be shared the 400 reasons why you have no chance of getting even close to what you want, why it's a stupid idea, and why you yourself is stupid, especially if you share it online. There isn't really much you can do about that, but perhaps you can avoid sharing it online, and avoid sharing it with people that only criticize you. Perhaps it is better to be without them. So, let's say you think you know why you really enjoy the game. You have also started creating a routine of your day that slowly moves you towards that one thing. A very helpful and concrete tip for controlling your playtime is to use the Blizzard parental controls, which allows you to set a number of limitations to the account. For example, you could set a max for how many hours you can play a day or per week, or set a schedule for when you can actually play. Perhaps it is just a little too hard to stop playing and start doing something else. This could help you stop. It might be enough to simply add this play schedule. Even if you can change it yourself whenever you want to, you might actually respect the message you see when the game logs you out enough to go do something else. Or perhaps you could have someone else set it for you, but according to your wished schedule, making it close to impossible for you to change it. You could also try and involve other people that actually want you to succeed. It's way more fun to do things together with someone else. Alright. This was a rather long video. I hope you found that the things I said make sense and might be helpful. Feel free to like and also subscribe to enjoy healthy doses of classic WoW content.